Hello everyone, welcome to Python Algo Trading Tutorials. This time I have progressed on Trade Manager and the basic logic from a sample strategy. Create some trades from the strategy based on the logic and hand it hand the trades over to Trade Manager for the execution. So Trade Manager actually asks the strategy which has given the trade to you whether to place the trade or not on each new tick for that particular symbol. Okay. Whenever the strategy says, okay, you should place trade, yes, you can place the trade, then trade manager plays the trade and it will start tracking from there onwards. So that's at very high level. The thing I'm going to, but before implementing those, there are so many things we had to add. I'll explain all of them through the code. So again, coming to this video, I request you to watch the previous videos so that it will be easy for understanding. This is the sixth video. There's earlier tutorials with the titles Python Algo Trading 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay. And the content I'm going to explain in this video is, what is the code added in Trade Manager class? What is the new code added? Okay. And I created some new data models for order management, especially. So these are like direction, product type, order input parameters, order modify parameters. So while placing an order, what are the parameters you're going to give it to, the trade manager, order manager, and similarly order modify params. In addition to that, we need some other models like direction, product type. So these are things we are going to use across the app everywhere, and the parameters can change from broker to broker, but we are maintaining the common properties in terms of these models same. So these has to be used everywhere the same, and only at the order manager level, if it is zero the order manager, then convert these models into the supported formats of that broker order. Similarly for price, currently we have only zero the order manager, but that can be the same logic can be extended to other brokers by adding other brokers related order manager. Okay. And how I'm generating a trade from a sample strategy and handing it over to the trade manager, and how the trade manager actually process the trade, we'll see that. Okay. And next, code for tracking generated trades here, and each new tick contacting a strategy to place the order or not. So after the trade handed over to the trade manager by a strategy, the trade manager on each new tick, it will actually ask the strategy by providing it's the latest tick, the live trade price, whether to place the trade or not. Because the actual logic for placing the trade, the condition is inside a strategy, it's not in trade manager. So these logic is segregated from trade manager and strategy manager. Okay. So when the strategy says okay you can place the trade, then only the trade manager places the trade, and after that it will start tracking the trade. Okay. The tracking means whether the order is filled or not. If the order is filled, after that what it has to do, it has to place a sell order then target order, and after placing both it has to keep track if required or not, then sell order and target order. So these are the flow, but I have not yet implemented the SL order and target order part. That will come into the next video. But we'll see from the point where the strategy creates a trade based on its logic and hand over the trade to trade manager, and the trade manager keep checking with the strategy on each new tick, and when the strategy says okay place the trade, then the trade manager places the trade. All this flow covered in this tutorial. I'll explain the logic through the code. Okay. Yeah. If I show the relationship between the strategies and trade manager in terms of diagram, so this is how it looks. there is a trade manager right on the right hand side. So what it will do, when you initialize the trade manager from the algo clause, so the trade manager will initialize and then it will start the ticker. So once the ticker started, okay, you keep getting symbols. No, you won't getting new ticks. When exactly you will get ticks? Only after you subscribe the symbols to the ticker, right? So how that happens? Let's see. On the left hand side, we have strategy 1, 2, 3, a number of strategy. Okay. So the strategy, what will do? It will create a trade, okay, based on the conditions by checking the live fee data or candlesticks data, whatever. So it creates a trade with certain parameters: entry, request entry, stop loss, target, and timestamps and some other data. Already shown in the previous videos what is the data model we maintain inside a trade. Okay, so when a strategy creates a trade, it will hand over the trade to trade manager. Okay, so the trade manager will store all these trades inside a trade store. Okay, we just have some static variable inside trade manager that is called trades. It's a list of trades, right? So each strategy can generate its own trade and give it to the trade manager. Now, when the trade is added to trade manager, the trade manager register symbol of that particular trade to sticker. So let's say this strategy 1 placed a trade for Cipla. The trade manager will subscribe the Cipla symbol to the ticker. So you start getting the ticks from the ticker, right? And inside trade manager, on each new tick, so what it does is, for each new tick for that symbol, let's say Cipla, it will try to find the trades from the trade store. Okay, for all the strategies, it will get the trades one by one, which are not at all placed. I mean, it will fetch only those trades not yet placed. And for each that trade, it finds what from where which strategy the trade has come here. Okay, so it will find the corresponding strategy and it will ask that particular strategy whether to place the trade or not. If the strategy says based on the current market price or any other conditions, then this trade manager will place the trade by calling the order manager. Okay, that's how the flow works. So we'll see the what all the code added. Okay, so the project is getting bigger, so it's difficult to even for me to maintain to remember what all changes I did from the previous session to now. So that's why what I'm doing is I created a pull request by pushing the changes into a separate branch and onto GitHub. And I create a pull request here. This is a commit ID. I have not yet merged it. So after this video, I will merge this code. So what this will show only the changes I did from the previous commit to the latest. Okay. So if I explain the things, let's go. So the file changed around 22 files changed or added. Okay. So this is nothing. I'm just giving dummy. So test.py, you can ignore this. I just had some testing something from my end. So in algo.py, what are the changes I did? In algo.py, I did nothing. I just changed the trade manager dot init function name to run. So rest all the same. And after the trade manager starts, so we need some time to get the ticker actually connection getting established. For that reason, I'm just keeping a 2-second sleep after the trade manager starts. After 2 seconds, then I'm starting the strategies, right? In our case, we have only one strategy now, sample strategy, but you can implement your own multiple strategies, a number of strategies, and you can add all those strategies in the similar manner, threading in a new thread. That strategy get instantly run and then start that particular thread. So this is there's nothing, no more. There's not more changes in algo, that much. And if you come to the bottom, broker app details, I think I forgot to initialize something here, so I just need. And the new data models I added here. This is a new data model direction. So in everywhere code, you can write like long or short everywhere. But instead of writing long, short everywhere in the code, it's better to have data model, or you define some constant somewhere, okay, so that use that and compare it everywhere, right? So here we have only two things, right? Whether the direction is long or short. This long short is maintained within the Python application, and there's nothing related to broker. Some brokers, the terminology for broker is different. If you want to place a long order 5 years, in case of 5 years is a +1, for short order it is -1. But in Zerodha it may be different. Some other broker it is may be different. But within our app we just maintain this only. So across the entire application only these two things are being used, long or short. So we just define. So what are the directions we have? So long or short. That is one data model, and another data model. So whenever we place an order, so we have to tell the broker, right, which order type we are giving. So this is the order type we maintain in our code. So there are generally four types of orders, like limit order, market order, SL order with market order, or SL order with limit. So these strings are specific only to our code, okay? And inside order manager, we will convert this order type to the broker specific order type before placing order, right? Okay, that is a order type model. And next, product type model. So while sending an order, we need to specify what type of product it is. MIS is for intraday, NRML for overnight positions, CNC for cash buy or investing. Okay, and we have some segment. Currently, we have only equity segment targeting. In some cases, we may need to use FNO in case of Zerodha. We'll come to that later when we implement it. These are the segments I defined here: equity, FNO, currency, commodity. But let's concentrate only on equity segment. Okay, and these are data models. And when you come to the base order manager, so what are the things? I changed a few things here. Earlier, I passed every trading symbol, price, quantity, direction as a parameter to the place order function. I changed the code inside the base order manager itself. Let's take order input parameters instead of this multiple parameters, because we may have some parameters applicable, some may not be applicable. So that by checking this order input parameters data, so we can take action accordingly. So what kind of data to be filled before placing the order onto broker terminal. And similarly for modify order, so what I did, we need order ID. This order is we maintain within our system. Okay, instead of just order ID, I am passing the full order details. This order is nothing but order details of our system, and I am passing the order modify parameters. So this is just base class, correct? Base order manager. So I'm not having any implementation here. So the broker, whichever the derived class, derived for each broker, has to implement the logic. I'll show you how the logic has been changed for Zerodha order manager in this case, after changing these function signatures from earlier multiple parameters to a single class level object. Okay. Then I added one more function. We don't need actually place SL order. I removed this. So this can be handled just with the place order method. Okay, just by checking the order type from the order input parameters. Modify order, you take the input order, which order you want to modify, and send what are the parameters to be modified. Okay, whether you want to change quantity, price, or trigger price, whatever. And then we may need one function just for convenience point of view, modify order to market. So just give the input order. This is the system order details. It will just modify the order to market. This comes in handy when, let's say, your order is running, your SL order is in place, target is in place, and none of them hit till the square of time at 3:15, assume, and 3:15 you want to exit the position. So what are the things available? You just cancel the existing order and place a new order to exit the position. Or another approach is like just change the current target order to market price, so that it will be squared off immediately, right? So for that purpose, I wrote some convenient function here. So just implement this, okay, for if you are writing the code for other brokers. In this case, only Zerodha order manager we can see, okay. And the cancel order, just send the cancel order details and it will cancel. So these are the functions or behaviors to be implemented in each order manager. So this is the just basic order manager, no functionality here. And another another functions what we need exactly. So here the fetch and update all order details. So we have created strategies. Let's say strategies created trades, and trades handed over to the trade manager. Assume the trade manager places orders like original order, SL order, target order. So all these orders are gone from our algo, right? And periodically, every 30 seconds or 1 minute, we need order updates, right? What happened to the order? Is executed, failed, or SL hit, whatever, cancel. So all these details you need, right? So one way is where whenever you require, just send the call the broker API and get the that particular order details. But since we have so many orders, so many trades, so many orders, calling a broker API for each order to get the status every 30 seconds or 1 minute is not a good idea, right? So instead, what we can do, the broker provides to fetch all orders at once, correct? So what we do is what the functionality we need to write, fetch all the orders at once, correct? This function what it does, you pass all your orders from your system to this function. So this function has to fetch all the orders from the broker, okay, and get the latest status of each order and compare and update only those orders placed by algo. Okay, this is nothing but the orders placed by algo. If you have other than, let's say you are trading manually in your broker account, and here your algo place around some 10 orders, you manually you trade around 30 orders. So when you fetch all the orders from the broker will give you 10 plus 30, total 40 orders it will give, right? So but in all those orders, traverse each order and find your algo order and only update those order details. You don't need to do anything with the other orders placed outside of this algo. So that's what you need to do. We'll see the code how I handle that. And other functions you need to write inside your order manager, derived order manager class. As I told you, right, we are maintaining these properties at our system level, I mean at our app level, and this can be different from broker to broker. So what we do, convert to broker product type. So here we pass our system broker type, sorry, product type, and this function will apply some logic and will return the product type of the broker. Similarly, convert your system order type to broker order type. Similarly, convert your system direction to broker direction. For example, in case of direction, in 5 years, our system we maintaining long and short, right? But in 5 years, for long means +1, short mean -1. So this convert to broker direction function in case of 5 years order manager should return, if it is long, return 1, if it is short, return -1, something like that. I hope you got that. Let's see. Before going to order, let me go to Zerodha order manager first. Okay, here is the Zerodha order manager. It's derived from the base order manager. So I changed the all the things. So these are the models we imported and that we are using across our application. And see what is how the place order looks like. So the place order, we are overriding the functionality from the superclass. Superclass doesn't have any functionality, I mean the base order manager. So you have to implement here. So the order input parameters will be passed to the place order function. So what I'm doing is here, so the code changes here. So from the input order parameter, you take the trading symbol, pass to this trading symbol. So basically we are calling this one, sorry. So kite place order. This kite is nothing but the broker handle. After you log in successfully, you will get some broker handle, right? So I explained in the previous videos, you can go through them, what is kite means here. So we are inside Zerodha order manager now. We're calling the kite.place order of broker SDK. This is nothing but we're calling the broker API to place the order. And the parameters we're passing here, trading symbol, that is from order input parameters. And from order input parameters, we're passing the direction. But before passing the direction, we need to convert it, our system specific direction to the broker specific direction. So call the convert to broker direction, correct? Then pass the quantity. We don't do any conversion here. Price, straightforward, trigger price. If applicable, in case of SL order, you get the trigger price, otherwise this will be none or 0. And convert again product type. So you have the product type like MS, NRML, CNC, but the broker can have in different parameters. In case of fires, we have NRML, but fires accept as a margin. So the NRML is equivalent to margin in case of fires, but in case of Zerodha, both the same. That's okay. And order type SLM as limit order, market order. Order types also different for different brokers. Okay. So the let us look at the convert to broker direction, convert to product type, convert to order type in Zerodha Order Manager. If you come down, so this is a new. Yeah, I'm sorry, not this one. Just see what is the logic in convert to broker product type self. So this is our system product type. So if our system product type is MIS product type database, so what I'm returning, I'm getting the broker handle here. I'm returning kite dot product underscore MIS. If it is an RML, kite dot product dot underscore NRML. So similarly for CNC. So what is the order type? So convert from our system specific order type to the broker order type, right? So kite dot order type limit in case of our system order is limit. Similarly for market, kite dot order type market, SL market, like this. So similar functionality has to be implemented for other brokers. When you write code, let's say Fires Order Manager or LS Blue Order Manager, okay, you have to implement these functions, okay. And similarly for direction, if the system is long, in case of Zerodha, we have kite transaction type by, and if it is short, we return kite transaction type cell. So these are the functions we implemented here, and we are calling in each place order or modify order function. Here we give all the parameters, and so place order is done here, correct. So after the order is placed successfully, what we do? So we're just printing the order ID. What is the broker here? And what I'm doing is, after we get the parameters from the broker, in this case, we just get only the order ID, correct? We are maintaining an order at our system level. So our system order, okay? Our system order can have order ID, order place timestamp, last updated timestamp, and some other detail. I'll show you what is the data model for order. So what I'm doing, I'm getting the order ID from the broker and creating an order object by passing the order input parameters, so that those parameters can be taken from input parameters and filled into the order object. So this is the order ID we got from the broker after successful placing the order. You get that. And what is the order place timestamp? So we are not interested in the broker timestamp. We just get our system time. That's it. Okay. So in this case, while placing the order, place timestamp and last update timestamp both will be same. And if you go to the modify order, so order modify orders being sent along with our system order first. So what are we doing? So which order you are going to modify? Kite modify order. Order ID we are passing. This is our order, and order ID you are going to modify. Quantity, if the order modify params new quantity contains greater than 0, so we are assigning, otherwise none. So if the new if the new price is greater than 0, so we are altering the price as well. Or if it is a trigger price, new trigger price, then trigger price. Either you can send all these parameters, or few of these three can be applicable. And what is this order type? So in Zerodha, you can also change the order type along with modify order API call, but it's not allowed in Fires. Okay. In case of Fires, this new order type don't send anything when you call this. But in case of Zerodha, let's say you want to change, you have some SLM order. You want to change that SLM to just limit order, or you want to change the limit order to SLM order. So both are possible in Zerodha, but it's not possible in Fires. Okay. So in that case, you can change the order type as well using modify order. And if you, okay, sorry. So modify order is also done. And what is the other thing? Sorry, here we have modify to market, correct? So give your order and order modify parameters. We may not require that. So I can remove this last parameter. You can just call order ID, give your order ID, and I'm just, in case of Zerodha, right, I'm just using the order type market here. So that this order will be directly changed to the market. Okay. So that's how we are changing the order to market. And in case of cancel order, you just pass your order object. So get the order ID from your order object and pass the order object to the cancel order method of Zerodha. Okay. The order will be cancelled, and after the order is cancelled, we update the timestamp here. Last order update timestamp. Similarly, we update last order update timestamp to the current time in case of modification as well. Okay. Here. And going down. So yeah. So I want to explain these things, right? So I told you, right, we have so many orders in our program that are coming from different strategies. So the trade manager actually collects all the orders placed from the algo, and will give you all the list of orders to fetch and update all order details, and it periodically every 1 minute it updates your detail. So here what I'm doing, I'm taking the all orders that are from the algo, and I'm calling the chi.orders method here. So this will give all the orders from the broker. It will call API internally, and from the internet you're fetching all the order. I'm just calling it order book. So once you get the order book from the broker, so what we have to do is, so there can be, the order book length can be higher than your algo. So your algo have, let's say, 10 orders. Out of your algo some other orders placed, but the order book is nothing but consolidated of all orders. Okay, and we go we go iterate through each order from the order book. I calling it B order. B order is nothing but broker order. Okay, and if that order is found in our algo orders or not, I'm checking here. If our order in orders means this is our algo order, checking if our order ID is equal to broker order ID. So then okay, there is a, we found the order. So set it the found order and break this loop. And we are interested in updating only this particular order. Okay, if found order is not done, okay, found order some ID. So this is a broker order. Right? From broker order, you get the latest quantity, get the latest filled quantity, get pending quantity, get the status, and all these things you assign to your own order details, correct? So that the trade manager access from this object, system object, I mean system order object. There is one thing here, I added some code here. So if the order status is cancelled and order quantity is greater than 0, so we need to treat that order as completed. The reason is, I explained in the previous video, when in our strategy, let's say you place some order at some time around 10 o'clock. So it may happen like only the partial quantity is filled and the remaining quantity is not filled till your strategy stop timestamp reaches. Assume that stop, you are not going to take any new orders at 2 o'clock, 2 p.m. Okay. So till that time, only the partial order is filled. And now at 2 o'clock, what you did, you cancel the order from the algo as per the logic. So what happens? The existing quantity is still there. The partially filled quantity is still there. Let's say out of 500, only 100 quantity is filled. So the 100 quantity field is still valid, correct? So after 2 o'clock, when this fetch and order update details method is called, if you find the order is actually cancelled, but for that order there is some quantity filled. So that is nothing but partially filled case, and the order cancelled at 2 p.m. when the strategy timestamp reached. So in that scenario, we have to treat that order as completed, okay, considering only the filled quantity in our calculations wherever it is applicable inside the trade manager. Okay, so this is a special case added here. You will understand why you require this, okay, when you actually work in line. And status done, and what is the price and what is the trigger price average. So at what price the order is filled, you will get from here. And number of orders updated here. I'm just making a count. So how many orders from the algo updated here? I'm just printing something here. Okay, and I explained this. If I go above, so we jumped right from previous some classes here. So what are the, yeah, this is order model. So inside order model we know, right? So these are properties we need to maintain. Like for each order you should know what is the trading symbol, exchange, product type, order type, price, trigger price, quantity. So all these parameters are required within our trade manager, correct? Okay, as you can go through the self-explanatory, you can understand all this. And this is just okay, underscore str of self. So this is nothing but if you know Java, it's similar to toString method in Java. So what we are doing is whenever you print the object of order, right? So generally what the Python does, Python just prints the address, right? The virtual address, it will print, correct? But we don't want virtual address to be printed whenever this order is called inside your logging or print method. So what I'm doing is just prepare a string with the details of this order. I'm not having all the order details here, only few details which are important. I am preparing a string and returning from this method. So wherever you do a call inside your logging or printf method, when you are printing order, so all these details of that particular order is printed. Okay, and okay, this is order input parameters. What are the things so while creating an order? You have to give this order input parameters to your order manager, right? While placing order. So these are the parameters to be filled: exchange, segment, NSE, this is by default currently, so not other exchange allowed at present. And segment also I'm taking by default equity. So this may need to be changed in case of Zerodha if you're trading in FNO. So we'll see that later when we actually trade FNO. I can implement some sample strategy in FNO segment. So at that time we need to change these values from the outside, maybe from the strategy itself. Okay, and product type, this is by default MS we is supporting currently. Okay, you can even change. These are default values, but from before calling this order input parameters from outside, you can set those values and pass to order manager. Correct. The other symbol like trading symbol, direction, order type, quantity, price, trigger price. Right. So these are the parameters you are interested in order input parameters. Okay. Based on order input parameter, you tell which type of order is which product type and at what price you want to place what order. Okay. And auto modify parameters. So after placing the order, if you are interested in modifying the order, so and you need to fill these properties of this order modify parameter. I'm extremely sorry. I need to change this to order modify params. There is a spelling mistake. Of course, I have not yet used this code yet, so that's why I couldn't find error. I should change this to order modify parameter. I'll do that fix after this video. Okay. Assume that this is order modify parameters. If so, what are the parameters you want to change? New price you want to change, or it's a new trigger price you want to change, or it's a new quantity you want to change. Again, I told you, right, you can still change order type as well in some brokers like Zerodha, but it's not supported by all brokers. So make sure which broker you are with, based on that this can be used. Okay. Similarly, I wrote underscore str self method. So whenever you print order input parameters object from your code, okay, these values will be printed. Correct. And coming to the, okay, we covered Zerodha order manager PY. I explained all of this thing. Place order, modify order, and what are the utility functions you need to write when you override this order manager from the base order manager. Okay. Okay, now come to the best strategy. Okay, we are done with order manager. How we are handling our data, how we are modifying our, converting our data to the broker specific data while placing or modifying order, and we are maintaining our own order within the system that has to be used across the application. Now coming to the best strategy, what I changed here inside best strategy. Okay, just a small change. Instead of hard coded value, I am actually taking from the product type model and .ms default value here. So nothing else. Okay, what I did here. So when you write your own strategy, let's say sample strategy, deriving from the base strategy. So when the base strategy constructor is done here, so after all the input parameters properties set, so you need to register this strategy with the trade manager. So I will explain that each strategy is a singleton class. They are not, we are not going to have multiple instances of each strategy. If it is a sample strategy, there will be only one instance. If it is, let's say, some temporary strategy, there will be instance of only one of the temporary strategy. So what we are doing is register strategy to the trade manager. Call the trade manager class and call that register strategy function and pass this current object, okay, this reference to the trade manager. So what the trade manager will do is, trade manager will keep a mapping in its cache, the map between the strategy name to the instance object, so that whenever it is required, so the trade manager will call the strategy manager, okay, on some specific operation. Let's say I told you should place trade or not. So the trade manager can ask the strategy. So only if the trade manager knows the instance of the strategy, then only the trade manager can actually ask that particular strategy for any operation. Correct. So for that matter, we need to register strategy to the trade manager. So this is that. I'll show the code of trade manager. And coming to the should place trade or not. Okay, I told you, right? This is the main thing. This is called by the trade manager after creating the trade. Okay. So in this case, what is the logic actually? So if I go to the previous code is not there. So what was the logic we discussed, right, in strategy manager? Sample strategy manager. Let me just reiterate that code. So what we are exactly doing in this? Okay. So yeah. So we are inside the sample strategy. Okay. What we are doing? We have some symbols defined here. SBI, Infy, Tata Steel, Reliance, HDFC. We are just going through the symbols. Okay. At every 30 seconds, when this process method is called from the base strategy. Okay. Base strategy. We are running a thread. Each 30 seconds, this process method is called. And each 30 seconds, what we are doing? We are just getting the code of each symbol. and I'm just calculating long breakout price. What is the long breakout price in this strategy? Yesterday close plus 0.5%, short breakout line is yesterday close minus 0.5%. I have these two lines. I mean, two lines means two prices, breakout prices, and I'm just getting the current market price from the quote last traded prices. Okay, if the current market price is greater than long breakout price, I'm deciding, okay, go long. Okay, we need to create some trade with long, and the breakout price is long breakout price. In case of the current market price is less than short breakout price, it's a short trade. If none of them is true, nothing. I mean, we're not doing, we just continue and go to other symbol and do a similar logic. And whenever we find either direction, like either we have to place a long trade or short trade. Here, if the trade is already not placed, we just maintain, we need to maintain some cash, so that every 30 seconds you are not going to place the trade, right, even if it's satisfied again. So for that purpose, we are maintaining a cash here. If it is not placed, then generate the trade here. So here we are generating the trade by calling, by passing the symbol, direction, breakout price. So what is the generate trade function here? I written, this is specific to each strategy. The logic of trade entry is specific to each strategy. So here I wrote the generate trade function in this manner. So create a object of trade. Okay, you know what is the model of the trade. So pass the trading symbol, the strategy, you pass it, direction, you pass it. We passed from this, for this function, whether to place market order or not. Yeah, in this case I'm just setting to true for the ease of use. Place market order, requested entry, that is nothing but our breakout price, timestamp, setting this strategy to here in this case we're just setting the stamp time to strategy timestamp. I'll explain that why we need, you can check the trade model and read why this timestamp is used. And here we are calculating the quantity. So there's a function inside the base strategy, calculate trade capital. We are just giving the breakout price now. So there are 5 trades in this. So if you distribute the capital, let's say 3000 capital in this case, I configured here 3000 capital and with the leverage of 2x, so total will come around 6000. And what are the max trades per trade is like 3, right? 6000 by 3, it will come 2000 per trade, right? So that is the capital to be used for particular trade. So and the 2000 capital by breakout price, what is the price? In case of Cipla, let's say the price is 900, so the 2000 by 900, so we'll get the 2 quantity, right, in this case. So if you by chance get quantity 0, then here I am just making sure that at least set the quantity to 1, so that the order won't be rejected. In case of long trade, calculate the stop loss price. This is from breakout price minus that is the SL percentage we define in the constructor of this strategy. What is the target percentage? Similarly, calculate all those things. And here, after creating the trade, you just call trade manager and add new trade. So just hand over this trade to the trade manager. Okay, and from there onwards, the trade manager will take what should be done. And after giving the trade, another thing in each strategy you need to implement it. You just hand over the trade, but you should tell, right, the trade manager should know whether to place the trade or not. At each second, the trade manager actually calls this strategy by passing the trade object. Okay, and the latest tick. Okay, this is nothing but latest tick means the last quote. It will pass, and what we'll do here, we are interested in, first of all, there is some common logic. Okay, should place trade or not, first of all. So there is some common logic I implemented in base strategy. So what is that? Base strategy should place trade. Okay, if the trade object is none, by due to some any issues or bugs in your code, the trade object you received as none, so return false in order to take place trade, because you don't have any data here. If the trade quantity is 0, so you should not place the trade, return false. And other main thing is, so we coded, right, max trades per day. You already placed, let's say 3 trades, and that fourth trade also triggered. I mean, your strategy created a 4th trade as well. And when trade manager asked you whether to place this trade or not, if 3 already reached, why to place the 4th one, right? You have to reject it. You return false here. So in this case, what I'm doing is to count the number of trades already placed. So you should ask the trade manager. Inside trade manager, I implement a function here, get number of trades placed by this strategy. You just pass the strategy name here. It will give the count of the trades placed so far. If the number of trades placed so far is greater than the maximum trades decided for this strategy per day, so in that case, you just return false from this super class strategy method, right? So before while returning, you also make sure to disable the trade, so that the trade manager will not call that particular trade again and again each second. you decide, okay, max trade is it, and then just set this trade to disable. And once the trade set to disable trade state, then the trade manager is not going to call that particular trade again, right? So for that matter, I used this one here. So when the base strategy is called here from the sample strategy, if the base strategy says no, it's false. So don't take any action, just return false. Not going to do anything. If the base strategy tells you, okay, this trade can be placed, but what is the actual logic? Base strategy is not aware of the actual logic. Base strategy is implemented only for the common logic. And the actual logic comes here. So what you are entering, if the direction is long and the current tick last traded price is greater than requested entry, I mean the breakout actually happened. So then only we are returning true. So when you return true, the trade manager will place the trade. Okay. And in case of short trade, if the trade is short trade, check the last traded price is less than the requested entry. That means the breakout happened, I mean our breakdown happened on the short side, then we return true. If neither of the case satisfies, they just return false. So every second keeps on calling, right? So at some point of time, the price can reach either greater than breakout level or less than the breakout level. Then you return true from this strategy, and the trade manager will place the trade. So coming to the trade manager code, let's go to the trade manager, right? So probably I wrote the new code here so that either I can go from here. Okay, let's come down. I explained the sample strategy, what I did, what are the changes I did. Okay, and then if you come down the base ticker, there are, let's say, little modification I did. What happened in case of there is some exception from the listener, okay, from the trade manager, listener, or any other. So just handle it. Otherwise, what happens, right, the ticker gets disconnected automatically. Okay, to handle the some error scenarios, I added some code here inside base ticker that you can have a look at later. And this is nothing. And trade, this trade model I no, modified a little bit to set the properties properly. So when the trade is created, we just trade state model just set the trade to created state. Okay, so initially. So there are few things here. What are the things? Okay, here we are interested in whether, let's say, there is a possibility of you restart your server, right? So whatever, I mean, if you are generating the trade again, so it should not happen that same trade should not be generated again, right? So I implement the equals function. So to compare, this is the current trade and you pass a trade object, some other object to this. So how we define a one trade equal to another trade? Okay, if the trade ID is equal, obviously, yeah, this is same trade. And the trading symbol not equal, that's a different trade. If it's the same, so probability of having the same trade. And the strategy should be equal, direction should be equal, product type should be equal, and even the request entry should be equal. And the quantity should be equal, and the timestamp when the trade was placed, when the trade was actually created, that was a timestamp. It may be equal to the strategy start timestamp. So only when all these properties are equal, then only we say that, okay, this trade equals to another trade. So this way, this is being used in the trade manager. Okay, and there's some prints. Whenever you print the trade object, we are printing something here. And if you go to the trade manager, yeah, let me explain. Anyhow, these are all the new code. Let me explain from the ID itself. So what is the trade manager? What you are doing? So when you are running starting the trade manager, it's a holiday, we are not going to market close, not going to do. If it is market not order, we are waiting till the market opens. And if it's a zero the ticker or fire sticker, whatever, we are correspondingly, we are actually starting that particular ticker and we are registering the listener. Okay. So what is a listener in this case? In trade manager, ticker listener function is a listener. So what happens after starting the ticker and when you register the subscribe the symbols to the ticker, so we'll keep getting the ticks from the broker. So you have to take some action on each new tick, right? That action is going to be taken care inside this ticker listener function. So that is at bottom. We'll see. So in what are the things? Once the ticker is one part, it will be responsible for checking each ticker and whether to place the trade or not. Okay, and once the trade is placed, what are the things we need to do is market close for the day or not? If the market, we keep running inside a loop. Okay, so if the market is closed, we're just stopping the trade manager, and if otherwise, so every 1 minute here, just having a sleep here, every 1 minute, what I'm doing is fetch and update all trade orders. Okay, so we're calling the function, and so what it will do, every minute we are actually getting all the order details from the broker and updating the internal references of each orders that are placed on our algo. Okay, so this function is responsible for that. And not only that, not only that, updating the order is not enough. but you have to track each trade, like whether SL hit or target hit or original order is placed, then whether SL order is placed or not. If not placed, then place the SL order, and if the target order is not placed, then place the target order, something like. So I'll explain those things later, and I have not covered yet those things. Currently, today we are interested in placing the order by checking each tick and calling the strategy manager should place the trade or not. Okay. So this is the register strategy is called from the base strategy of each strategy. Okay, when the here what we are setting the strategy name to strategy instance. Okay, so that this will be used further. So this what is this add new trade? Whenever a new trade is created let's say in sample strategy, we create a new trade and we call the add new trade method. So when the add new trade method is called, we are going through each trades. Okay, if this trade already added or not. Okay, we are not going to add the same trade again. Otherwise, you keep firing so many orders, right? So what we do is if that particular trade is already there, TR equals trade. So that's what I explained here. So there is an equal function implemented here, right? So how do you say both two trades are equal or not based on these conditions? Okay, this is a property. So that's come into picture here inside trade manager. If it is equal, we are not going to do anything. So it already exists. So not adding anything, just written from here. Okay. If it is not added, if it's a new trade, what we are doing? Trade manager trades. This trades is nothing but I shown you right in the PPT. This is a trade store. That what the trade store is nothing but this is a trades list here. Okay, and appending the trade to that list. So after adding a new trade, to the list. So what we do is, so we need to register the symbols, right? So we should start getting the ticks for that new symbol. It may happen that symbol might have already exist from other strategy. Let's say strategy 1 supply is already added, so that you will keep getting the ticks already. But from the strategy 2, let's say Reliance is not yet added. So what you are doing is Reliance symbol we are passing here. So registering symbol with the ticker, so that the ticker immediately will start sending the ticks for the Reliance as well. And whatever the new symbol, so you are going to add from this add new trade, correct? And this disable trade functionality we used inside the base strategy main, right? So let's say you max trades reached, and when this disable trade functionality is called with some reason. So I'm just putting the print here. So this we are going to disable this trade with some reason, okay, and setting the trade state to disabled state, correct? And the main the core part is ticker listener. So we register the listener, right, to the ticker. So we'll getting ticks for each symbol. Okay, after we added new trade and subscribe to the symbol. So for each tick, what I'm doing is, what are all the strategies actually from the strategy to instance map. Okay, for each strategy, what I'm doing is get untriggered trade. So untriggered trade in my case means the trade is created but not yet placed. Okay, so this function will give you the which is the trade that not yet placed. Okay, from the trade store, that is nothing but from the list of the trades, correct? So when you call this function with the trading symbol and giving the strategy here, so we will get the some trade. You may or may not get. If there is no trade, just continue and going through other strategy. If you get some trade, okay, now what will happen? For this particular strategy, we need the strategy instance, correct? So from this strategy to instance map, by passing the strategy, we will get the strategy instance. So from where how the strategy instance come into picture? We registered, right, each strategy with the trade manager, and we stored the strategy instance inside the trade manager strategy into instance map, correct? And by getting the strategy instant, you call the should place trade by passing trade object and ticker. The tick means the latest quote. Okay, and if the strategy instance tell you should place trade or not, let's say go to the sample strategy. Here you pass the trade and tick, right? So based on the tick and trade direction, it returns to true or false, correct? Based on the current market price. So if it returns true, so what happened, right? So if this is true, so then you call execute trade. Okay, it's time for the executing the trade. Place the trade. Executing the trade means place the trade. Okay, if the execute trade is successfully place the trade. If the trade is placed successfully, this return is success true. In this case, what we are doing is we are setting the trade state to active state. So what are the trade state we explained earlier? What are the trade state? I'm sorry. Here it's a model. So the one is a created trade. Usually the trade is created from the strategy, but it's not placed yet, correct? After placing the trade, we are setting the trade to active state. That is active. When the trade is completed, like SL hit order, target order, or you squared up at the time of 315, then we are going to set the trade to the completed state. Or due to whatever reason, we place the trade, but the trade, the entry order got cancelled. due to whatever reason the script is blocked, or you don't have sufficient margin, or the broker is down, whatever the reason. So in that case we are going to set the trade to cancel trade, whether it is rejected or cancelled, we are going to set the trade to cancel. And I didn't explain this disabled state in the previous session. I added this new why we require. I already shown you where we are going to disable the trade. In case of, let's say, 3 trades already placed, the 4th one also we are going to place, and by that time the strategy, the sample strategy told you, or best strategy told you, like we already reached max limit and it's time to disable the trade. So that strategy will call you the disabled trade. Okay, so in that case when the trade is disabled, so we are setting the trade to the disabled state. Okay, those are the trade state we are maintaining. And when you come to the untriggered trigger, so what is this? So here we need to give the sum trade to the this function, right? Whenever it's called on each tick, based on the strategy and the trading symbol, what we are doing is, if the trade state is disabled, okay, so obviously you are not going to consider the trade, just continue and go on to the next trade. If it is not created, we are interested, if it is, the trade should be in created state, correct? Only then that is applicable for a new trade. Otherwise, if it is not created, means okay, the place trade already happened, so we are not going to, just continue and take on to the trade. And we are interested in, okay, we have to compare the trading symbol, and you have to compare the strategy also. For this strategy, for this trading symbol, give me if there are any untriggered trades. This function will give you that particular trade. Whenever you find such trade, you just break from and come out of this loop. Okay, break it, return this trade. Here you gave the trade from here, and if it is not none, and then correspondingly you get the strategy instance of that particular trade and call the strategy instance whether should place trade or not. If that returns true, then you call the trade manager execute trade. So what is execute trade here? So execute trade is nothing but passing the trade. So execute trade called for, let's say, printing some details of the trade here. What we do, I told you, right, we need some order input parameters. From this trade symbol you fill the order input parameters. Direction you will get from the trade, what is the product type you will get from the trade, and order type. If you place market address to, then we are just setting the order type market. If it is not, then we are setting it to the limit order. So then the main parameters are price and quantity, order type, product type. That's it. Once you fill these properties of order input parameters, what do? You need to get the trade manager again, right? Sorry, order manager again, right? So in our case, how do you get the order manager? So here I implemented one more method, get order manager. So once you get the order manager, you call the place order function. So what is that order manager? If you come down here, so get order manager. So get order manager, you call the controller. So inside controller, what is the broker currently set? If it is a Zerodha, you will create a Zerodha order manager instance, and you just return the order manager of Zerodha order manager. Otherwise, it will be some other order manager. So when you get the order manager here, right? So the particular order manager you will get from there. That particular order manager place order function will be called by passing order input parameters, correct? So this place order, when it is called, you will get, it will return the order. So order is nothing but order of our type. So our system order. So what is our system order? Our system order is with these details written. So from where you are returning here, inside the order manager for the current scenario. So after order is placed, you are creating an order, okay, by passing the order input parameters to this order object and getting the order ID from the broker, filling it, and order lost, place timestamp, order place time, etc. values, and returning this order object from here. So that's how it will be. There are multiple chainings happening here, so you may get confused, but if you are be cool and go through the code properly step by step, how the code is being moved one place to another place, from class to understand the hierarchy, and then it will be easy. Okay, of course it will take time initially, but once you get used to this code, right, it is easy for you understanding. And when you get the order object from here, you will get it. What I'm doing, I'm just setting that particular order into the entry order. Okay, now we place the trade, we got the entry order details with the order ID and other details. We set that to the trade dot entry order. So what are the main things in trade we are maintaining in each trade? So apart from all these properties I mentioned above, so these are the key things, right? So what we did, we just set the entry order here, so that you can later on track the entry order, correct? And after placing the SL order, we have to set this object. After placing the target order, we have to set this field as well with the order details of corresponding SL or target orders, correct? So those will come into the next session. Okay, we fill the entry order now. So what else happening? So here done. On each, you ask the strategy manager whether to place trade or not. And after placing the trade, we place the trade and we got the entry order from the broker. We filled this entry order, right? So what else is happening in the backend and in another thread, apart from this ticker? So this is the while loop keep running, right? Every 60 seconds, we are actually waking up this thread, and we are calling this fetch and update all orders method. So if you go to the fetch and update all orders method, so what exactly I'm doing is here, for each trade you have different parameters, right? Entry order, SL order, and target order. So for each trade, if there is entry order exists, okay, get the order details and append to all orders here, right? All orders nothing but these are all orders we are actually preparing. It's nothing but algo orders, the all orders placed from the algo. So preparing all the orders, being it an entry order, being it a SL order, being it target order, doesn't matter. So all the orders will go into this all orders, and calling the get order manager, we are calling fetch and update all order details. We are passing all algo orders. I explained you, right, in order manager of Jiroda or whatever order manager. We are getting all orders from the broker and updating the orders of our system. These orders will get updated each every minute, right? Every by calling this. So once you get all update order details, what else you need to do? Then you have to track each entry order, SL order, track order. So this is not yet implemented. This will come into the next session. With that, actually, we'll cover once that is implemented, SL order target is implemented, we can cover the complete flow from entry order to SL order to target order. Also, we'll then after that try to implement the square of time. So if none of them got executed by 3:15, then we'll square up. That is another functionality. Again, that will also be part of this trade manager. So the trade manager code will become big going forward. So I am trying to put the things as simple as possible inside the trade manager so that everybody can easily understand this. So that's how it happens. Now it's time to check this in the live. Okay, let's test our sample strategy program in live market, whether it places the order or not. Okay, let's see. I'm starting the program, python main.py. Okay, program is running. Here in the browser, click on login to broker. Let me log into broker. Click this. Okay, I logged into broker, and now I am on start algo page. Logged in successful. You can also just refresh this so that we'll be ready here. Let's see. Okay, I'm clicking on start algo button now. So what should happen? Okay, so first of all, the algo will start trade manager, and it will start a ticker. The trade manager will start a ticker service, and the algo will start multiple strategies, right? In our case, only one strategy we are having now. So the strategy will have its own logic, and it will generate trades, and it will give the trades to trade manager. On each new tick generated, the trade manager checks each trade, and it calls its corresponding strategy to place the trade or not. So if the strategy gives the trade to be placed, then the trade manager will place the trade. Okay, let's see by clicking on start algo button now. I click start algo button, ticker connect successful, and it's going. See the trade is placed here. Let's see. Yes, so the time is 13:80 now. So in fee and Tata Steel long trade and Cipla short trade. Okay, I'm just highlighting these the three only. Okay, yeah, we are able to place the trade successfully. So the remaining things will cover later. So I'm just printing the ticks received. So you keep on receiving the ticks, and so I'm just printing them. So every 30 seconds within the strategy, the base strategy will call the process method of each strategy, so that you can see some prints here after 30 seconds. Wait. Okay. See the other prints, these are from the sample strategy. Since the what I wrote logic inside the code is if the trade is already placed for that symbol, so not going to process those symbol again. That's why there is no other trade. So that's how it works. Okay, it's running in live now. Okay, so we have not yet covered placing SL order, target order, and tracking the trade, etc. That will come into the next video. Okay, we'll implement. Okay, that's it. Thanks. I'm stopping this for now. Okay, we saw the complete code, how the trade manager is being written, how we are getting the ticks from the ticker, and how we are actually calling the strategy on each new tick. And if the strategy says should place the trade, we are placing the trade, and okay, and we are from there onwards we're tracking the trade, right? So that's how it been happening. I think that's it for the day. We'll continue the next part of the code tracking the trade by placing a sell and target order in the next sessions. Okay, thanks. Until then, have a nice day. Thank you. Bye bye.